This week on the podcast, we're going to talk about the 5 people that you meet before retirement. Kind of basing this off a little bit of kind of the recap of Mitch Albom's The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, where the main character, Sean, if you haven't read the book, meets people in the afterlife that, kind of show him some things about his life and whatnot, or their life. And we thought we'd kind of take that analogy and kind of parlay that into talking about the people maybe you want to consider having a chat with on your way to retirement, right? Because we want to enjoy ourselves in retirement and have a good time, but we also want to make sure we're taking the right steps and learning from others who've already been there, right? So that's going to be the topic this week. You doing all right, my friend? You hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Well, good.
I'm doing great.
Good. I think one of the people that you should meet is someone like yourself, right?
Yeah.
First on the list, a financial advisor, right? I mean, you've never retired before, unless you're forever Tom Brady. so, meet with somebody so you can kind of see what's going on. And you guys have helped hundreds, thousands of families retire.
Right.
So, talking to somebody who's been there goes a long way.
Well, why? Like, why would you even talk to an advisor? I mean, there's multitude of reasons why you'd want to talk to an advisor, why you'd want to sit down with somebody. The first one you said is that you've never retired before. And the rules of engagement as you transition, get closer to retirement, they change. Your needs change. The things that the types of investments that maybe you want to use change, but how you put it all together changes.
Mm-hmm.
There's people built, and I'm not a puzzler. I don't even know how it's called.
Somebody likes to
build puzzles.
Right.
When I build puzzles, I start from the outside and then I work my way in.
Sure.
But there's got to be a thought process in getting to retirement, right? Like, you've got to build those protection walls to help you do the things that you want to do, and then fill everything in that you really want when it comes to the fun stuff, the travel stuff, the family stuff, the volunteer stuff, the kid stuff, whatever it may be. But you've got to have at least some sort of idea or roadmap to allow you to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, and in that book, there's a main character that kind of protects, or there's a character that kind of protects the main character. And you kind of think about a financial advisor in that same way. You're kind of getting that coach, you're kind of getting that, hopefully that protector to help you from stepping into the stuff you just don't understand what you're doing. And it's easy enough to build wealth, right? I mean, the accumulation phase, Sean, is much easier. Even if you just wind up doing a 401k for 40 years, right? I mean, even if you're just doing that, it's still easier than when you get to the distribution phase and you're thinking, okay, now I got to turn this money into, this money saved into regular paychecks because I still got to have the lights on. I got to see how that's going to affect my Social Security. Do I want to ride that horse heavier? Do I want to go money from my assets? How does that affect, when I pull this lever, what does that do with my Medicare surcharges? Oh, that changes that? I didn't know that, right? So there's all those little things that start rolling out, and that's where a financial advisor, I can offer some of that protection in a way, because they're saying, hey, look, we've done this for thousands of families. Let's show you how this is going to affect this, and so on and so forth.
Here are the things you didn't think about. There's all things, I want to do this, and this. Okay, what didn't you think about? Now let's solve those problems as well.
Yeah, the dream stuff is great. That's the fun, right? But you still got to do the math, and you still got to have the mechanics behind it so you can do the dream stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so another person you might want to meet on this analogy, an estate planner. Thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Love it. I think that having an estate planner is, it's kind of the three-legged stool. And okay. I know your CPA is not on here, but I think that every
that's a good one too.
Retired family should have a financial advisor, a good tax professional, and an estate planning attorney. Reason that I believe that is, the advisor is supposed to build the plan, run the strategies, make sure they work, but who are they going to bounce the ideas off of when it pertains to taxes and when it pertains to your estate? Your CPA and your estate planning attorney. Yeah. And, if there's ways to mitigate taxes now and in the future through different strategy, your CPA needs to be on board first and foremost. The estate planning attorney needs to be around, because I'm a big believer that you don't want to make any decisions when a spouse passes away first and foremost, or when both of you pass away. We don't want your kids to have to make any financial decisions. We don't want to put, Steve in front of his siblings and say, hey, this is what mom and dad wanted, without
Right.
any real direction. Because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
puts Steve in a really bad spot where maybe the kids don't believe him, or maybe they want more, or maybe they want their own wishes. Mom said I could have the house. Well, dad said I could have the gun collection, or I get the cab, and then they start to fight. Having an estate planning attorney and you lay all your wishes out from the grave, it doesn't allow for that. So it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
and pre talking to them, folks, also goes a long way, Sean, because you can cut some of that off at the pass if you make your wishes known to the kids before that happens. But
right.
then the estate planning attorney is there to offer that kind of reassurance. Hey, no, this is the wishes.
This is the legal document
Yeah.
of wishes. You don't get to dispute it. I mean, you can, but it's not going to help.
Yeah. And then you've got the, trust to not to trust, right? Do you set those things up? Do you want your estate going private, or, by going to a trust that keeps it out of the limelight, or are you just going with the will, which will mean you go through probate, right? I mean, so there's all those kinds of little facets and I think, Sean, years ago, having a financial professional and an estate planner, people went, "Oh, you must be really rich."
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore, right? I mean, it's pretty affordable, and it's one of these things that's quickly becoming kind of an essential for most people.
Yeah, it's a necessity. I think even like my wife and I, yeah, granted I do what I do, we've got to trust. And it's simple fact is that I've got minor children that if something were to happen to both of us, I don't want there to be any question about what to do with the assets, what to do with the insurance, what to do with the house. I want it to be laid out for the benefit of my kids, and then the money is controlled how we want it to be controlled. So,
Yeah.
whether you've got younger kids or whether you're retired and getting ready to transition into that phase of life, I think having a trust is a really good idea.
Yeah. 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 And don't forget the fund to trust. A little common mistake that
Yeah.
people make. Sometimes they set those up and then they forget about doing anything else, but they don't fund it, and it's just kind of pointless. So
Yeah, don't build the house without any of the internal guts, right? Like,
right. It's just a frame. Yeah,
put your
exactly.
furniture inside of it.
Yeah. Put some plumbing in there.
Yeah.
Be helpful. Another one you might meet, if we're using this analogy again, like the 5 people you meet in heaven or the 5 people you meet before retirement, is our topic. An insurance broker. Okay. Now, somebody say, well, wait a minute. If I'm working with a financial professional, could they help me with the insurance? Well, yeah, but there's different kinds of insurance too, right? So you could be talking Medicare. There's some specialties there, right? Long-term care, lots of different things.
I mean, in my opinion, you want an insurance person who specializes in that, right?
Right.
We
I mean, home
specialize
and
in
auto is one
retirement
thing, right?
and
But
income planning.
yeah.
You do not want me to figure out what your Medicare premiums are going to look like.
But I bet you have somebody either on staff or you have some resources that you help people find
We sure
to
do.
talk to. Exactly.
Yeah, we sure do. But
Yep.
understanding even your property and casualty insurances, your Medicare, your health insurance if you're under 65, those are like auditing your insurances are important.
Heck yeah.
Like, you want to have a specialist that does that. And the insurance professionals, they get paid by the policies, not by the client. So
Right. It's important. So again, they might be another person you might want to have on your, dream team, so to speak, right? Because there's a lot of little nuance to that as well, that didn't used to be there. Here's a little outside different one that you may or may not agree with. A fitness instructor. We kind of added that because people want, retirement today looks a lot different than it looked 20 years ago, Sean. People want to do more stuff. And as you know, you've been doing this a long time. People want to be more active, and they maybe want to do more experiences with the kids and the grandkids while they're still healthy enough to do so. Well, you got to take better care of yourself. So maybe a fitness instructor's on this list.
Well, the days of like retiring, getting the gold watch, staying at home. Like I remember when my grandparents retired, I could always find them at one of 3 places. I could find them at home, I could find them at the mall, like walking around the mall, or I could find them at Walmart watching people. So, but those days are long gone, right? People are more active right now. People are living longer. And I actually don't mind this fitness instructor, but what I would add to that is, it doesn't necessarily need to be a private, trainer or personal trainer.
Right.
When my kids were really young and I got out of shape, I worked with a trainer to get back into shape. But I've got this app on my phone, and it's called the Zing app, and I hit a button I pick a workout. It's all AI generated. It gives me an hour workout that I complete. It keeps track of every workout I've done. It recalibrates. Now I'm self-motivated to do that in the mornings, right? And go work out and follow that app. And so I think that I think it shouldn't just be necessarily a fitness instructor, but maybe a fitness routine.
Sure. Yeah.
If you need a personal trainer, great. Go, and you have the means to hire one, perfect. Or follow, Zing app, which is what I use, and I don't get any royalties off of it. It's just a cool app that I follow day after day after day to do my workouts.
Yeah.
Or just,
there's YouTube channels, there's Instagram channels, where you could follow people. There's lots of people that are doing the fitness business online, right? So you could do workouts off of that. And I think, to your point, though, accountability comes into play sometimes. So even just going to the gym, and just because you've hauled your butt there, I might as well work out. That could go a long way too for a lot of folks, depending on what kind of self-motivation you have.
Go walk, go join a fitness class, go do something along those lines. But there's a lot of ways to focus on your fitness. Yeah. Just find what works for you that's going to motivate you.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't walk if it's 103 like it is outside today. But other than that, brutal. Yes. So I like this last one too. And this one is someone to mentor. This I think is pretty cool because as we're aging, we got a lot of information. We got a lot of stuff to give back. And depending on the kind of person you are, maybe mentoring somebody else gives you a lot of fulfillment and gives you a lot of purpose. Yeah. People often struggle with purpose in retirement.
Well, I look at it, it's like, hey, you're a coach, right? Like and in a lot of the circles that I'm part of, there's a lot of very well-known coaches who are guys that are retired that have coached for years and years and just still want to be around the game and they want to spread their knowledge and they want to teach. If you're an engineer, create a little engineer club. Like, hey, here's what I learned throughout the course of my career, and help that younger generation speed up a little bit their learning curve.
I tell you what, the trade skills, man, we could definitely use a lot of mentorship in the trade skills in this country right now, right? If you were an electrician or a carpenter or something, that could be really cool.
Just even like a carpet guy, right? Like whatever trade you do, bring somebody along and let them learn from you.
Yeah, because the skills and the knowledge passed down. We've been doing that for thousands of years. We don't want to let that die just because of AI and YouTube.
Well, and I want people, like we've got a young guy here he's a college football player. He's going back. I want him to see how hard work is, like how to actually work hard, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what does it take if you've got to do this, this, and this throughout the course of the day? How do you get it all done at the same time? So.
Yeah, no, I agree. So the 5 people maybe you meet in retirement, hopefully you guys enjoyed that analogy again with that great book. A lot of people have read that book. It's a fantastic book. So hopefully you enjoyed kind of our spin on that. Look, at the end of the day, retirement's more than just about the numbers, right? It's about who's walking with you into the next chapter, whether it's your loved one or your families or whatever the case might be. And, you don't have to figure it out alone. So getting a team on your side, definitely like Sean was saying, goes a long way. Having those people who have coached others through that is important. So reach out to Sean and his team. Get yourself some time on the calendar. There's links in the description below to the main website there. You can go to elevatemyretirement.com. You can just give them a call. We've got the numbers on the screen, all that good stuff. Take some action for yourself and your retirement. Do something to maybe help improve yourself along the way. And Sean and his team are here to help. So we certainly appreciate your time. Subscribe to us on Apple or Spotify, or of course here on YouTube. Thumbs up and the notification bell to catch new episodes. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Supports the channel, and we certainly appreciate it. Sean, thanks for hanging out, my friend. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you a little bit later this month.
Oh, awesome, man. Thank you.
We'll see you next time here on Retirement Elevated with Sean Lee.
This video has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this video is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Mark Killian and Third Wheel Media LLC receive compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this video.